Welcome back to the HTML5 Essential Training Series. In this tutorial we're going to talk about the markup language. HyperText Markup Language, or HTML, is the underlying markup language of the World Wide Web. That markup language is what ties together all the websites that make up the web, from the large-scale commercial sites like the Amazon.coms and those large retailers to the single-page sites that are developed in your local high school for their technology classes. They all use, in one way or another, HTML so that they can be visible on the web. As we discussed in an earlier tutorial, do not let the term markup language scare you. A markup language simply marks up plain text so that the browser understands how to display that text in a browser window. Markup languages are not difficult to understand and in fact can be used to create simple web pages quite quickly. As we discussed in an earlier tutorial, there are many tools available for website design. Throughout this series we'll be using simple text editors so that you can gain the knowledge needed to fully understand the markup language. As I explained in that earlier tutorial, there's a lot of what you see is what you get editors out there like Dreamweaver, Front Page. There's a plethora of different types of web development tools available. Throughout the tutorial series on the OnTarget website, we're going to be using text editors so that you can actually get a working knowledge of the language itself, of the markup language itself. That's very important for you in understanding how this all works, so that when you finally transition to those types of editors that allow you to drag and drop things and move things around, in the event you have to go behind the scenes to tweak things so that it appears the way you want it to appear, you'll understand the markup language behind the scenes that allows you to do that. Starting out, we'll use the markup language to perform some very simple basic HTML5 pages. You will learn how we turn that plain text into web pages. As we progress, we'll become more complex in our designs and utilize other tools to help style our pages. Some of those will include CSS, we may put in a little bit of JavaScript, but this is going to be a growing process as we go through these tutorials. Each tutorial will build upon the previous tutorial so that you get a full grasp of the entire language. By the time you complete the series, you'll have designed and built a multi-page website using many features, or utilizing many of the features of HTML5. We'll discuss the differences between HTML and HTML5 as we progress through the tutorials, but we're going to focus on the new standard, the HTML5 standard, so that you're learning the newest material available. These tutorials will be updated as that HTML5 standard is updated, so that you're going to see new and interesting information. So keep an eye on the website. Things are going to change, especially during this year, 2014, when this standard becomes the newest standard of the HTML platform. We'll also incorporate CSS into our website to style our pages, but keep in mind that this course is going to focus on HTML5 and HTML. There's another section of the website that focuses on CSS and CSS3. Our main focus here is going to be the structure of our web pages. How do we properly structure the web pages for our website? So what exactly is HTML5? In the simplest terms, an HTML5 document is a plain text file that's been encoded using HyperText Markup Language so that when the page is displayed in a web browser, it appears in the web browser with the structure that the author had intended. Don't let the definition confuse you. During the next tutorial, we're going to talk about the tags themselves, and this will begin to make a lot more sense. Here's what HTML means in a word-by-word breakdown. Hypertext, text that you can click on to move from one document to another. This is how web pages link together. So hypertext allows you to move from one web page to another web page. Markup, tags that apply structure conventions to the plain text that we're using in that web page. Literally, the plain text is marked up with these HTML5 tags. And then language. Language is a reference to the fact that many people still consider HTML to be a programming language. It truly is not. It's not compiled, but there are still many people out there that think of HTML as a programming language. So in the next tutorial, we're going to start diving into understanding the HTML5 tag structure and how these tags work. in our markup language. I look forward to seeing you there.